This morning on SteinbachOnline.com, we posted a story about the old SCU building being used by Calvary Chapel as their new space. Now, this got so many comments on Facebook, and we thought it'd be a good idea to do a little bit of Facebook fact-checking, or comment correction, or whatever you want to call it, and take just a little bit more of an in-depth look at some of the Facebook comments that we got on this story. First off, Madison. Really bad place for a church. There is so little parking already, that's just going to make things so congested. Honestly, a church in the Safeway building would be ideal. Lots of parking, huge lot, would be perfect. Now, this actually seems to be a really big issue. Parking is definitely one of the biggest things that is on people's minds. Madison is not the only one that's talking about parking. But as the story states, they will be using some of the SCU parking on Sundays. Now, this could be a bit of a problem. There is some overlap that could happen with hockey tournaments on weekends. But the SCU is not open on Sundays, and the church is planning on using the parking lot. So there should be a lot of open spaces. So parking really shouldn't be too much of an issue. Now, moving on. Matt says, keep the downtown vibrant by having work, play, and worship. There is a bank you can work at, now another church to add to the 42 other ones within Steinbach and area. What about something for play? You realize the city is in the middle of a drug crisis? Kids in their youth have turned to addiction because other than the skate park that's jammed and a pool that's outdated and jammed, why not allocate these resources to something that isn't another church? And whoa, he gets a lot of likes for this comment. Matt is raking in the love for this one. Now, first off, is Steinbach in the middle of a drug crisis? No one's denying that is definitely an issue here in Steinbach, but that is such a huge topic, and I think we could probably dedicate a whole nother Facebook fact check to that one entirely. So we'll just leave that one alone for now, and let's stay on the topic of the old SCU building being used as a church specifically by Calvary Chapel. And Matt's suggestion that this being allocated as a resource for something else. Now, fact check, the city of Steinbach actually doesn't own the old SCU building. It's, owned by the current SCU. So they can't really allocate it as a resource for anything. Now, the Steinbach Credit Union could build a trampoline park or a laser tag park, or my personal favorite, and I think this should be considered an indoor go-kart track. That would be excellent. But for now, I think they're pretty much just concerned with running the Steinbach Credit Union and trying to deal with this building. But I mean, who knows? Maybe they're going to diversify into entertainment complexes for troubled youth. I'll have to ask Glenn Friesen next time I see him. All right, so moving on to Rochelle. She says, well then, Steinbach alone will officially have 37 churches. But then Sherry comments on Rochelle's comment saying 57 churches. It was on Jeopardy, believe it or not. That escalates quickly. 37 to 57 and on Jeopardy. Now, I did a little bit of Google searching, and I have to say, I don't believe it because I can't find any clips of Alex Trebek saying anything about Steinbach or the number of churches. But if you do know of this clip, please contact me because I'd really, really love to see that. For now, we're just going to have to rely on Google. Now, a quick Google search does show 20 churches in Steinbach, and even if that's incorrect, and they're probably a little bit low on that estimate because, there's some that probably just haven't notified Google, and there might be some host churches that aren't listed, but 20 to 37, that's a pretty big gap, and let alone 37 to 57. So I think 37 is probably a little bit of a high number for Steinbach. Now, census data from 2001 does show that 90% of Steinbachers have some sort of religious affiliation. Are they all in church every Sunday? I don't know. I kind of doubt that. We can check with our bedside Baptists. So yes, Steinbach does have a lot of churches and a strong faith community. Too many churches? I don't know. That's up for you to decide. Now, Cheyenne says, great space just up and wasted. Pathetic. We don't need another useless church. And whatever you think about churches, you can think whatever you want to think. This actually isn't another church or even a new one. This is Calvary Chapel, and they've been around in Steinbach as long as I can remember. They're just moving into the old Credit Union building because they outgrew their current space. And who knows? Maybe they'll outgrow the old Credit Union building, and they'll build their own 6-story building on Main Street. But for now, they're just going to stick with the old Credit Union in downtown Steinbach. And that is Facebook Fact Check / comment correction, or whatever you want to call it. Thanks.